This is Emily. Emily wants to play in women's AFL. Emily is a victim of social bias to gender stereotyping. Hashtag justice for Emily. People don't get periods, women do. People don't get pregnant, women do. People don't breastfeed, women do. Being female is not a feeling. It isn't frilly dresses, high heels, long hair, and makeup. I'm sick of seeing my sex erased, trivialized to accommodate everyone else. I don't care how people identify or what they choose to do with their own money behind closed doors. But stop telling females that all things that are unique and special to us can apply to everyone. They can't and they don't. It's offensive and demeaning. My pronouns are he, his, and how the fuck is this horseshit even a thing? Yes, fellow liberals, this is where we part ways. So Facebook is fun. If you can't tell by my voice, I plan on doing this video quite a while ago, but school and everything kind of got real crazy, real busy and all that. I graduated now, finished college, I have 2 bachelor degrees, and now I'm finally getting back to basically a reaction to some stuff I've seen on Facebook. So the posts you just saw were various ones that I've seen on Facebook from people I know, like in real life people in my life. I came out on Facebook in like September, and then most of these posts, I think this is all October that I put them together. And I was basically just going to show a kind of reaction video. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those, just read those, and you think, oh, that's awful. But a lot of what I'm going to talk about is kind of also coming from who these people are in my life, and the fact that I already have an idea of who they are and how this post made me see them. So I'm going to go in reverse order of what I just showed them in the opening thing. So the only one that wasn't a meme and it was actually someone's text wrote out was the one that was the pronouns one. Now, this is somebody I know in real life, older gentleman, and very much a liberal person. Straight out calls himself a liberal, and like even in this this post. And it definitely surprised me at first. I was just sort of like, whoa, because while he wasn't a guy that talks about LGBT things, he's definitely one that's made a few comments here and there when he's surprised at someone being like homophobic or something. Not surprised, he's like, he's basically criticizing from someone for being homophobic or something. I think I've seen a few of those. It's been a while since I was planning to make this video, so I'm trying to think back to my thoughts exactly when I was planning it. When I saw this post, I figured something happened with like neopronouns or something. Because I can imagine this guy, if he met someone who is like maybe transitioning and not passable yet, he wouldn't be an asshole about it. Like, I don't think so. And so what I ended up commenting, I have a picture of it down here, I ended up saying my true feelings at the time. I said, well, while I do find it awkward and rather ridiculous when cis people share their pronouns, I have to admit that it did help me begin going by different pronouns before I began transitioning. So back when I wrote that, it was before I started seeing or understanding this whole idea of more people sharing their pronouns to try and normalize it, so that way for non-binary people, it's not a weird thing. And I get that. That's why I think it's so hard for me and so weird for other people to share pronouns, because culturally, it's a weird thing. It's new. People haven't been doing that before. So there's going to be this pushback, obviously, about, like, it's weird. And so, yeah, that's how I felt about it, because it definitely does feel very strange, especially when, like, a few years back when I was first in college, to see these obviously cisgender, most of the time straight people, put on their bios and stuff, like, or in their email ends, their pronouns and stuff, and it felt weird. And I'm sure they've gotten bullshit for it. So it's definitely, so it was a slow-moving thing. He never responded to me. I did get a few likes from other people that both of us know, which was nice. Other comments that were on this post were actually quite a lot of people being like, trying to be informative about how the pronouns thing, how this idea of pronouns is helpful for some people. Actually, I think most of them were that. And then you get the few obviously transphobic things, like that that one I've been seeing going around that's like a motorcycle identifies as bicyclist, sets world biking record, and all that stuff. But most of the comments were attempting to educate him on its importance. Now, it was different with this situation, is I sort of thought, well, I'm assuming that something kind of bigger happened. I assumed either someone was trying to do neopronouns, or I also thought maybe someone asked him for his pronouns and he felt ridiculous doing it. And then I started wondering, what if something less than that happened? What if it actually was just someone who didn't pass yet wanting to go by different pronouns and he got like upset about it? So I decided, you know what, why not talk to him? Because he didn't respond to my comment, and I did want to have like a dialogue, and I kind of wanted to know what prompted this post. Obviously, something had to have happened. You can't just, like, there had to be a build-up, there had to have been things, something that, like, caused him to want to post this. So it took weeks before I, like, actually ran into him again in real life, and I was kind of nervous because this guy's kind of intimidating. Real big, tall guy. So I was awkward doing it, but really I didn't want to do like a debate argument or anything. I just wanted to know what prompted that, and to make me understand a little bit more about why did he post that. And I could say I know him from my college, and the thing that he stressed when I talked to him was it wasn't anyone here. It didn't happen here at our school. It was something else, and that was, he like stressed for some reason, and I'm like, it's not really what I care about. I just want to know what did prompt it. And he said it was a few things, which, okay, that makes sense. Probably it was a few different things that made him think this, but it didn't get any suspicious. I was trying to come off non-confrontational, so I decided to bring up, I had recently watched Roland's video about how his problems with the non-binary community, that there was, especially he was frustrated at this one person who got offended when someone used they them pronouns because they go by neopronouns. And Roland was pretty upset about this because that person was literally trying to be polite by using the they them, and they weren't trying to start an argument, and so the person got angry. And I told that story to show that, like, I'm not trying to fight you on this. And he sort of said, like, something like that happened, but he didn't say for sure. And I'm like, I don't really know. So unfortunately, I didn't get much out of my conversation with him. Plus, at that point, someone else came in the room that I had come by to talk to him in, and it was just sort of like, oh, we need to get out of here. And he had another class to go to. So that's all I got out of that. It's interesting because back then I was very much sort of more on his side, that this whole sharing pronoun things is very awkward. And especially in light of it's probably been over a month now, or 2 months, that the ContraPoints controversy over her last video and some tweets she said on Twitter. At that time, I wasn't quite aware of the fact that we're trying to normalize it to try and make it less awkward for non-binary people. Because I just see it from my point of view that it makes it more awkward for binary people. It makes it more awkward for more binary trans people, and I wasn't quite seeing past that part. I still think that my comment was really good for showing what I think, because I said that I admit that it helped me begin going by a different pronoun before I began transitioning. And that just shows, maybe its existence is very helpful for people, and maybe this awkwardness and weirdness about how it is something that should be overcome and not fought against so much. The next one was one that it's been forever now. Was the period one. It was all about, for context in case anyone doesn't know, Always announced that it was going to remove the Venus symbol from its packaging of its pads because it wants to they want to show their support for trans men and non-binary, and be like, they exist and they have periods too and they're not women. They try and hide this, basically try and fight against this stigma that trans people are still their biological sex. And I looked into what prompted it. Apparently there was a couple of tweets, and some people, I haven't done the perfect research and found those tweets. Apparently people said they were non-confrontational, and it was not like a you should do this. It was more like a suggestion to be helpful. And that's pretty much what I know about it. But of course there was this huge backlash of people being very upset by this, which I find really funny because I looked at a bunch of the Always pads and I'm like, I never noticed there was the Venus symbol on it. their packaging changes all the time, and I've noticed some they have like pictures of women and stuff, or they have other things. They have swirls, and there's like all of these different varieties, and I've never actually seen the Venus symbol on it. Maybe it's on the outer, like the outer packaging, not on the pad itself packaging, but like the big bag it comes in, or the box they come in. I don't know. So it's sort of like a weird thing for me. To me, I think it's a good gesture. It seems like it'd be helpful, but I also understand that it's a frustrating thing because it's not like the most important thing in the world, and because of that, the backlash is a lot harsher than the benefit that it does. So the point of sharing this post from Facebook is about the person who decided to share this and who they are in my life and what's my reaction to them posting this. So actually looking ahead at the post, we see that it's very much TERF language. For those who don't know, TERF is trans exclusionary radical feminist, and it really takes a stab at trans women, which is just really funny because obviously this whole thing always was for trans men and non-binary AFAB people. So a little bit about who posted this. They are a new student at my college, and obviously what I first thought when I saw this was sort of their young, fresh out of college ignorance. A lot of people coming into college, not everyone, but quite a few, you get these people that come in who just don't have that much outer world experience, and they learn and change so much in college. And I kind of see these people from what I gathered about their background and how they are and coming to our college. I'm like, this is going to throw them for like a loop, learning more things about the world that they probably did not experience back in their high school and how they grew up. So I was actually really angry when I first saw this, and it really like basically boiled my blood, and so I put it away and turned away from it. And it wasn't till later that I actually wrote a comment or made a comment. And thinking about it now, it was sort of maybe not the best way to approach this, because when I think of this person, what they really need was like education. And so what I decided to throw up is because I came across this meme that was like, and is it like a Twitter post on dark mode or something, or I'm not sure what social media it is, but I can put it up here and read it. Trans mask. Please don't call pregnancy or menstruation women issues. I am not a woman. Transphobe. I'm sick of my womanhood being erased by the likes of you. She points past the trans mask person. Trans femme looking up from her Nintendo Switch. Wait, what? And it's funny because that's exactly what the issue is like, this isn't about trans women at all, but like, because they just get the brunt of all this horrible transphobia this is thrown at them. Probably not the best kind of response thinking about it now. While I can easily understand, even if you don't know trans masc and trans femme, it seems obvious to me to know, like, oh, the roots are there, masculine and feminine, it's man and woman. But I also gotta think this person probably doesn't even know that trans men means FTM and that trans woman means MTF. Like, they think it's the other way around or something like that. And so this probably didn't make any sense to them. And it was mostly, I was still kind of fuming from anger as to why I ended up using that as my comment response. Probably not the best. But I did get a response, a response from the original poster. They tagged me and says, how do people that aren't biologically females get periods? They can't. Obviously, that's my point where I was just thinking they wouldn't understand what I meant. And I feel like I was pretty cocky at this point in my transition, thinking that I really passed. I'm not sure why. I've had moments where I passed, and I have moments where I don't, like, for years. Even before I even came out or even, like, decided, yeah, I'm trans and I want to try and pass. Or, I tried to present more masculine, but I didn't really think much about how people were going to perceive me. I was passing all of a sudden in some situations. And so at this point, these new people, I sort of assumed I did. And that's where this post I said comes from. Because I thought it was like a throw you for a loop thing. I said, right, this is about trans men, FTM, who are biologically female and do get periods. Even men years into transition can still randomly get a period. Hell, I'm on mine now. Which is me being cocky and trying to throw for a loop. It's like, whoa, guess what? I'm trans. I bet you didn't know that. Even though I'm thinking about it now, I still think I don't really pass all the time. And I'm being cocky. Maybe a little bit more now that my voice dropped. Back then, I was probably being too cocky. I just realized that's kind of a pun. Anyway, no more response from them. I haven't spent too much time around them, but I get a sense from a little bit more I've seen on Facebook that they have learned a few things. Definitely not openly like, yeah, support LGBT rights type thing, but I see nothing. I haven't seen anything discriminatory to them in a long time. I feel like I've seen a little bit of a change in them. I'm not too close, so I feel like my commenting and helping wasn't to help anything, but just general college experience is gonna change and help them anyway. Part of my point I was thinking about when I was making this video way back when, I was thinking about the importance of not looking at them and being like, these people are awful, horrible people, they're canceled, or whatever people like to say. It was sort of like a, take a look at someone and be like, who just needs to be educated? Especially looking at this 18-year-olds, maybe 19 now, just out of high school, like, they have space, they have time, they have growing they need to do and will just naturally end up doing. And then the last one I shared, the first one I said, was the sports and transgender people one. This one was the one I think I had the roughest reaction to. It was sort of like a trend of, like, suddenly seeing a bunch of, if I felt like I was seeing a bunch of transphobic stuff on once, like all three of these were posted very close together. And this one really kind of ticked me off, because it wasn't, it's harder to engage in something that's literally just making fun of people, while the other ones were a little more emotional, I guess, from the posters, and there was a way to respond to that. This is just obviously just making fun of trans people. There's nothing else to that. And it really hurt who it came from was someone I've been beginning to meet more recently. I'll just say the full story. I am from a sperm donor, and through 23andMe I've met some of my other siblings, and this was one of the siblings posted that I thought was cool. Like, we had already met, and I thought things were cool with them, and seeing this really ticked me off, especially because I had recently seen a short video about Harrison Brown, who was a hockey player, transgender, and was on a women's team for a while, and then was coming to, in the process of coming out and realizing that he's trans and wants to transition, had to basically give up hockey to transition. There was a documentary towards where he was socially transitioning, and I may have had top or not, but not yet on testosterone, because he was finishing out the season, and after that, if he wanted to start testosterone, he had to leave the women's hockey team. And obviously, starting testosterone, he's not going to be up to par to be on a men's hockey team, so it was very much he has to figure out something else to do with his life, probably in the meantime, and even probably by the time he's finishing transitioning, probably not enough to be a professional hockey player anymore, and had to give it up early if he wanted to transition out. And it was a pretty, sad video to watch. I'm like, I sit here and realize how lucky I am that my passions are not gendered in any way. Like, the things I like to do, gender does not play a role in it. Unlike sports, where it's really hard. It's a very difficult subject. Tons of people out there think that trans people can just never do sports because it's just not fair, especially trans women can never do sports. It's not fair that they do it. The rules out there are very, from my understanding, I'm not super into sports, there's rules out there that are pretty strict about they have to be on hormones or whatever for a certain amount of time and a certain amount before they're at levels that allow them to be on par with women's, and then they can do it. It's a touchy subject, because on a certain, it's just a touchy subject, because the whole reason that men and women's sports are separate was because men have an unfair advantage physically. And I found the video really sad to watch, to know someone who really loves playing hockey, but wants to transition and he basically can't have both, and so has to give up for this. And then here's my sibling I just met, and I was thinking it was pretty cool, posted So I'm basically just making fun of that when it's a it's a sad thing. And so what I ended up doing as a reaction to this is I just defriended them. Like, I don't need them. I don't want to see this. Which is pretty harsh. Or not really harsh. It was a pretty rash decision to just do that. And I never said anything. But then again, I'm not really sure how I could comment why this is bad, or send a message or say something that's bad and not be thrown in the bus of being oversensitive or something. And those are the 3 posts from back in October that I wanted to basically make a video showing my reactions to them. If you want, let me know how you would have reacted to them, or your thoughts on how to deal with stuff like this, or maybe share stories about other types of situations you've had with people in real life that you weren't really, and other types of transphobic situations you had in real life that you weren't really sure how to deal with. Thanks for watching.